Camiguin. They call it the Pearl of the Philippines. And after all I've read about it, it seemed like it's kind of that underrated kid at school, you know? Like everyone's talking about Boracay or El Nido, but Camiguin just really quietly sitting there being awesome. But is it really so? Well, anyway, I was all about exploring all the beaten path places, so I figured, why not check out Camiguin and spend there 1 week after hardcore travels with backpack along Cordillera and Luzon regions. Little did I know that just getting there wasn't an adventure in itself.
Now, hold on to your hats, because we literally tried almost every mode of transportation known to mankind. We started our journey right after exploring the iconic Banawe rice terraces in Bataan. First up, we spent 30 minutes on a motorcycle and an hour on a jeepney to get from Bataan to Banawe. Then, it was a grueling 9-hour night bus ride from Banawe to Manila. From there, we hopped into a cab for a 40-minute journey to the airport. Then, we caught a flight to Cagayan de Oro, which took us about 4 hours. Once we landed, we endured another hour in the cab to reach the bus terminal in Cagayan de Oro. After that, it was a 3-hour bus ride from Cagayan de Oro to the Balingoan terminal, followed by a quick 15-minute tricycle ride to the port. Finally, it was a 1-hour ferry ride to Camiguin Island, where we wrapped up our journey with a 40-minute motor coach ride to the hotel. Due to the long travel time, we rested in our hotel room for the rest of the day after checking in. So there we were in Camiguin, also known as the island born of fire, is a pear-shaped volcanic island that nested in northern Mindanao, particularly seated in the Bohol Sea. The name Camiguin is derived from the native word camagong, a species of the ebony tree. Explorers Ferdinand Magellan and Miguel Lopez de Legazpi landed in Camiguin in 1521 and 1565. The island consists of several stratovolcanoes, which are located on top of ancient volcanic rocks. The volcanoes are considered active, although the last eruption was here in 1953. In Camiguin, the primary language spoken is Cebuano, but you'll also hear Tagalog and English, especially in places where tourists often go. In terms of safety, Camiguin is generally considered safe for tourists. However, as with any destination, incidents such as pickpocketing or minor theft can occasionally occur, especially in crowded tourist areas or transportation hubs. Despite being close to Mindanao, which has experienced security challenges due to terrorist activity and clashes between military and insurgent groups, Camiguin itself remains relatively unaffected. The perfect time to go to Camiguin is during the dry season, from March to May. When we visited in February, the weather was fine, just a bit cloudy and with a few brief showers. Now, let's talk about why people visit Camiguin. Many come for the beaches, but the truth is, the island isn't exactly beach-friendly. Surprisingly, there are no proper beach resorts on the entire island. Yes, you heard that right. Nowhere on the island can you step out of your hotel and take a quick dip in the sea. Sure, there are a few spots, like the giant clam sanctuary, where you can swim as part of a snorkeling program, but overall, it's not very swim-friendly. You could opt for a luxury resort with a pool and a great view, but that's not exactly the beach vacation most people imagine. Essentially, there are two main places for a beach experience: Mantigue Island and White Island. But both have their quirks and are quite a distance away from the main island, with limited time for exploration, so you won't be visiting them every day. Let's start with the White Island, one of Camiguin's gems. With its white sand and turquoise waters, it's a picture-perfect destination. Here's the thing: the weather can be unpredictable, and the tides change rapidly. Sometimes the island seems larger, but other times it shrinks or even disappears under the tide. For the best experience, go early in the morning when it's not too hot. To reach the island, arrange a boat at the port for 550 pesos, and if you have more people, the cost per person decreases. Umbrellas and snorkeling equipment are available for rent on the spot, but keep in mind there are no permanent structures on the island, so it's better to bring some food with you. There are extra fees like a 50 peso environmental tax and 100 pesos for snorkeling gear. The time you can spend on the island is limited to only 3 hours, so watch the time because some boat captains may shorten your visit. The second popular island is Mantigue. To get there, you'll hop on a boat that costs around 750 pesos for up to 6 people. It's a short ride, only about 20-30 minutes. When you arrive, you'll find white sandy beaches and clear blue waters. Just keep in mind that the water is still shallow, and there are a lot of sea urchins around, so be careful where you step. Oh, and there's a toilet available on the island, but its smell can be noticed from quite a distance. You can hang out on the island from 6 a.m. to 4 p.m., but you're only allowed to stay for 3 hours. If you want to stay longer, you can pay an extra 100 pesos per hour for the boat ride back. Mantigue Island has plenty of space to relax. There are cottages with benches, tables, and roofs to keep you comfortable. Before you go, make sure to bring water, sunglasses, sunscreen, and shoes to protect your feet from the corral. And if you want to snorkel, it's a good idea to rent gear before you go. While you're exploring, keep an eye out for a hidden jungle trail. It's a nice walk through the forest that you won't want to miss. Just look for it near the hut rental area and take a stroll for about 10 minutes. Mantigue Island is known for awesome snorkeling and diving spots where you can meet all sorts of sea creatures. From turtles to ribbon eels, trumpetfish, pufferfish, and more, the underwater world here is buzzing with life. So I decided to dive in and check it out myself. So, there I was, finally enjoying a good swim underwater, marveling at the beauty of the sea. And just when I thought everything was going swimmingly, I came face to face with a sea crate, a slippery serpent in the deep blue sea. Now, let me tell you about sea crates. These creatures are no joke. They're highly venomous snakes, and encountering one in the water can be pretty dangerous. Their venom can cause paralysis and even death if not treated promptly. Sea crates are unique in that they're amphibious, meaning they can spend extended periods both in and out of the water. They're known for their distinctive black and white bands, which serve as a warning sign to potential predators. The way their venom works is pretty fascinating, too. It's neurotoxic, meaning it attacks the nervous system, causing paralysis and respiratory failure. Not something you want to mess with, that's for sure. Let's just say I set a new world record for the fastest swim back to shore. If you're into exploring waterfalls and cruising around on scooters, then Camiguin is the place to be. We rented a bike for 500 pesos and set out to discover the island's hidden gems. The road system was simply amazing. All roads were paved, well-maintained, and clean. The island has many sightseeing spots marked on the tourist map, but only a few of them are really worth checking out. For instance, there's this Tuasan Falls. They'll ask for 50 pesos per person to visit. You can even take a swim there, although the water is pretty chilly. The walk from the payment booth is short, only about 30 or 50 steps. It's more of a hit-and-go kind of place. Just park your scooter, take a quick look, and then head to your next destination. There are a few springs and waterfalls worth checking out. You start your day at the soda pool, then you make your way over to Tuasan Falls and Nido Cold Springs. Some folks end their day at Ardent hot springs, but let me tell you, it's not living up to its name and is not actually hot anymore. Now, I know some people are all about hiking up Mount Hibok-Hibok, but let me tell you, it's no walk in the park. It's a tough climb, so we decided to pass since we've already had our fill of hiking lately. Just so you know, you can only hike there with a guide, and it'll set you back 1,200 pesos per group, plus an environmental fee of 200 pesos per person. And you got to sort out all the paperwork the day before. Then there's the unique sunken cemetery. It is a unique site created by a volcanic eruption long ago. It's where part of an old cemetery sank beneath the sea. Now, a large cross marks the spot, serving as a memorial. Finally, we made our way to the giant clam sanctuary, where we were amazed by the diversity of marine life thriving in the crystal clear waters. It's a fantastic opportunity to get up close and personal with these magnificent creatures. With all that being said, to be honest, Camiguin didn't quite meet our expectations. While it did have its moments of beauty and some places offered stunning views and delicious food, the overall experience fell short. Despite the effort it took to reach the island and the high expectations set by our pre-trip research, we found that many aspects of the island were lacking. Service seemed worn out and run down, and even places that charged environmental fees were filled with garbage. Additionally, accommodation prices were high compared to the quality offered, especially when compared to what you can get, let's say, in Thailand for the same amount. However, the most disappointing aspect was something else entirely. Despite our efforts to make the most of our time and enjoy the experience, there was a significant issue that ensures I won't be returning to Camiguin. It all comes down to the people we met during our time there, and to be frank, it wasn't a great experience. I've traveled to numerous places, both in the Philippines and abroad, but nowhere else have I encountered such rude, aggressive, and inappropriate behavior from locals. Let me break it down for you. Just to clarify, I was dressed like any other tourist, keeping it simple with no makeup or anything that could draw any unwanted looks. Despite that, I received a lot of unwanted attention. Guys constantly made comments, catcalled, or whistled at me, and it happened every single day. Whether I was on Mantigue Island, riding a bike, standing next to it, or simply walking around tourist spots, I couldn't escape it. It made me feel incredibly uncomfortable, even when I was with my boyfriend. His presence didn't seem to make a difference. Now, I'm not saying everyone on the island was like that. We did meet some nice and friendly people, but it didn't offset the negative experiences, and I constantly felt uneasy. Despite our efforts to salvage the trip, we ended up cutting it short because of the unwelcoming atmosphere. Honestly, I don't see myself returning to Camiguin anytime soon. The memories of my time there are overshadowed by those unpleasant encounters with some of the locals. As for female solo travelers, I wouldn't suggest this destination based on my personal experience.